from my heart. Message from my heart. Put it on the right track. Put it on the right track. Message from my heart. Message from my heart. Put it on the right track. Put it on the right track. Message from my heart. Message from my heart. Put it on the right.
Good afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are. I've been kind of going in circles about how to proceed on this, and oftentimes that just kind of means I'm like, I'd just rather close my eyes right now. So I think I have to do some sorting of thoughts and strategies. I did dump this for a while or switch the files back, and I think change data server. Yeah, I then resaved these files. So I'm going to have to get my testing setup figured out again. After having done all of that, I just got far enough behind. I didn't want to deal with figuring out how the incremental would look there. So I need to do that. All right, so this is semi-done. I also have to re-establish test environment. Yeah. So that's the issues. So I think we've got the file index. For a while, I was thinking about, well, what if we always copied to our own master copy of everything? And then processed off of that. And the one thing I don't like about that is I have this paradigm set up. Which document are you in? Family trees. So this is not necessarily the one that automatically runs, but it's close. Where in our main loop, we are looping over the log files. And then we do all of the steps that involve that file at one time. And that allows us to download it once, because these are kind of large files that get loaded over the network. So I'd like to maintain that property. I'm going to have to check if I can actually compare relative paths on those. That will also require methods of accessing files that are not just iteration, because so far we've only had to be able to iterate through them. So we've got that. We need to do that. We have developed a file list. I have to see if that continues to make sense. I think in order to maintain, well, there's a set of steps that we had to go through. We've sort of fixed the seeds. I just have to make sure we're keeping that, but that's semi-done. I think what I'm leaning towards now is that we somehow develop a ideal as a complete static structure rather than an incremental structure, a ideal base root data structure of some sort, using the information perhaps that we have from here or as a separate thing. Which will stop damaging this data. In order to fix the prior data, I could either upload my local data or can get a complete list of logs that it can use to reprocess it. I'd kind of rather set it up so that it's self-healing. Which means that we need to set up something that can copy new log files as it processes them. And then, well, we need to establish a maplog archive, which I've been debating whether to leave that where I sort of have one set up or actually move that into the map server just so I don't have to deal with adding that archive to permissions and configuring separate buckets and all that stuff. And then we can set it up to check older log spans and reprocess from archive to fix up all the errors. So I guess this isn't really part of this process. So we've kind of done that. I need to remember where I was with this. I might even want to commit what I've got. It was intermediate, so I kind of didn't want to do it. Okay, so that's just so we can see what's happening. We are not writing out detailed data right now. I was going off the fake. So one of the things we have to do is figure out where we're at and kind of reestablish that thing. And we might actually be hitting the point where new data is getting published soon. Hopefully that won't be too big a problem for us. Really, I'm just looking for like how far back this is. We've got map fake. This was 161153. All right, 1616. Okay, so we hadn't gotten that far. And then we need things after 623. Okay, that is going to look something like what it's going to be seeing here. No. So I was looking at map fake. I think I need to run this once from the entire thing because my file list might be out of date. Actually, we saw those overlap, so it might be okay. Maplog list, new with that path, list.files.length. I think that would be 0 if it had never run. Update from logs. Save it out. I had modified seed break. I was working on that. And it stopped saving it out. Maybe because that needs the entire list to be done right, which I have to see about. And then notes. Oh, I had been doing some processing of map logs. Let's get let's check our list first. That might be fine. Let's turn this off for a moment. And I can't just turn that off entirely. Right, because the context is initialized with it. Okay, so that is the seed break from everything, and then only this number of files that we got processed here. Let's see, that's fake. Yeah, that's supposed to be the time I downloaded it. None of those are seed breaks. We go... This takes us way, way back before we see that. It has been a long one. Oh, I didn't actually look at the... Look to see that we had the most recent entries. Well... We did 2.3 before, so that looks recent-ish. Okay, so that's updating. We did not save seeds, which seeds shouldn't have had any differences there. Well, I've forgotten how the incrementals affect that. Okay, that's looking like it's probably a complete history. I'm not even sure I had that commented out. Maybe just to save rewriting it. And it's like the fact that this stuff is all turned off. Well, as long as I make this thing a branch, which it's not a branch right now. No, I had seen my gem file lock changing. Did I forget about some commits I made to this? Oh, maybe I hadn't published. No, I had to publish when I did that. Oh, no, it was this thing, which is irrelevant to the published stuff, but we'll be updating it soon enough. I kind of want to, like, refactor this thing into like a library and a command line tool or something along that line. All the projects. And then we were not able to fix... I think I had copied these back. Had I copied them back from the remote copies, though? Oh, I know seeds got... I know seeds would have just been fixed. So turning this thing on. Right, which we determined it did not do it because of the way contexts work. Hmm. Oh, that's like the latest one, and that apparently had a different base. Oh, maybe it got a different route? No, its route time is still corrupt too. So how does that compare to the one we downloaded? Six two eight. That's 27. Oh, this might only be a time issue. This one had an older timestamp, so it said, oh, this file's newer. Which is the problem with mixing the local and remote ones. But this stuff is still all corrupt. Actually, I almost wonder if it's not reprocessing all of them. But I didn't see any indication it was doing that. Which could in a way indicate its own bug. Alright, so that's relatively trivial. Actually, I was thinking I might have to look at a partial update. Right, all the new files that we don't use. Is that something printed out here? Yeah. So what is that? I'll put final placements. This is if it skips this stuff. Then hey, we're here. I probably won't want that long term. And the other change was to turn this off. This is just debugging. So that is new. That is kind of temporary. That is new. That is new. And this is development stuff. All right, so you're our like temporary work. Oh, and there actually is going to be a new file here. I never use the GUI tools. I commit. Add? No, it's a tool. It's like it's not a context menu. You don't drag it. It's not a hunk. You don't double. Oh, I did. Okay, I clicked the icon apparently. They must be treating it like checkboxes or something. That's all development debugging stuff. Let's see, so that's good. That's not necessarily going to stick. That's pretty much all going to stick. That's going to stick. And then this is development stuff again. That's going to be a hunk. That is not. That's going to be a hunk, and that is not. Wait. Oh, I picked something up there I didn't want. That's a hunk. This fell into there. Well, that's a bummer. Would show less context give us tighter hunks? Yeah. I want to revert it. Can I stage that and then come down here and unstage line? I'll have to do both lines. That's all development stuff. Notes will be in process, but we can keep them. This is I guess I called it a map log list. Yeah, this is really about break seed and break history. Really solved the seed problem. So now how do we swing that? We've got our master seed list. Right now we're doing this entirely in a completely incremental fashion with this. So I kind of need to do something similar using, let's see, did I iterate these? Map log list logs. Yeah, the list was designed to serve a similar role to these. And to fit a similar interface. But context in the way it works, I don't think will quite do it. It may have a process like this. But I'm not going to have, let's see. Keeps it prior, it keeps base, it keeps root. All of those are readers. No. We were, you know, base and root are what we really cared about that. So that is the information we would have to be able to get about an arbitrary log file. I'm kind of wondering if this should just be part of seed break. Now you've got, you just have a save method. Okay, so process probably returns something to us. Is that perchance an arc list? Yes. Arc list. Yeah, arc's not values, so that was a pretty bare structure. And since it's just saving that structure, it would have exactly those fields. That's just decoding a singular one. Indexing them by start time. This is only going to be seeds. This doesn't even have file level information. If placements, yeah, because it can just skip if it's not a breaking point. So, seed break. Well, if it merges with, that would be the place where we might assign those kinds of things to some structure. Right now we're only returning a single value, though. Let's see, I am looking for root and base. Of course, we're then we're then reinterpreting this stuff to see which one we're in. With a special exception. And there's a prior and it merges with, then that's the base. Else, we're going to change our root. And every time we update base is nil, because there is no base to the root. And we're just going to remember that information for comparison. That would work well enough in a simple loop. It's tempting to allocate storage in the actual log files themselves. But that is going and messing with something that's sort of supposed to represent this more abstract concept of, hey, here's your raw data source. Probably logfile.path. Let's see, we should have some of that in here. Big server 2, that should be comparable wherever it's from. There is a small difference here versus the seeds, I guess. Is there anything about that? And I've forgotten what this actual event was. Oh, was that possibly where we changed seed styles? might have thrown off an iterative approach. One 574. Close, but not quite. It's down here. Oh, it's a little tiny file. Oh no, that is indeed a map seed. Oh, and there's the map log. I forgot what happened there. Did it like reseed but maintain the world because of how things got updated? Yeah, maybe it was something like that. And this is, yeah, that's tracking seeds. This is tracking whether it merges. So they are kind of two different things. Interestingly enough, this has their own concept of merging. If there was no seed break, right, this probably used to be doable with the files themselves when they contained seeds. Now, if they don't contain seeds, we have this additional information we have to deal with. So the abstract way in which we could compare or talk about any set of log files would be to take the path, which is a relative path, so it could be relative to multiple stores. So we could develop information based on the master list and then use that to determine the base and root of the files we've got. Which is going to have a little bit of a bump in the order I'm doing things. In that once I get a repository set up, all of these are not going to show up as needing reprocessing because they're also already have corrected data, but they'll have been possibly based on something that was itself based on something invalid. Actually, I think that they're probably correct. It's only the older ones that are being corrupted as we go. And then everything that was old, we won't be iterating that to do it yet. Once we have a repository, we'll iterate all of the older ones using that information, and we'll have to figure out how we cross-correlate. Now, as I said, if I want to do that every time, we're only in special need. Let's see, if there was a seed published, it really shouldn't affect the map processing. It was designed not to do that. All it could do is identify a breakpoint. All right, so I need this algorithm. And indeed, I could use this code. I would just call this code in a loop and then pull out the information. I think in the long run, though, I wouldn't necessarily keep this sort of stateful style to it. It would be a loop, and the loop itself would have a little bit of statefulness in priors. I guess if you're going to actually try to do a pure functional thing, you would like copy the list and take off the first element of one, and that would always give you the next. If you iterated that, then everything else would have a prior. This would not be a log file context anymore. This would be, what are we doing? We're going to use the seeds to determine which arc we're in. See if it's the same one. I think that's really all we're doing. Is it the same even? It's tempting to try and do this in the same loop as the seed break, but I'm kind of combining two different things there. I'll also have to return two values as a result. I do like the idea of, like with seed break, we'll just get a module that deals just with that problem. Maybe we could even still call this log file context, but where we keep the state is going to be different. Not really doing what else right now. Instead of being member things, it would just be local loop variables. If I were to rewrite this, let's see, if I were to rewrite this, I would need to do a separate iteration of the available log files to prepare the data structure to then use it. But in that sense, it should continue to work the same. Would it still be called log file context? It's less of a context itself. The base and root are still sort of determining that context. Let's see, so seed break. Right, that's a helper function, which actually isn't even called from here. And it's just a module of the process function. So if this is seed break, that would be like log file merge. It would be log file base, log file breaks. Well, seed break is sort of developing a list that has the points where they break. This is developing a data structure that represents the recalculated base and root information of every file. Maybe that would still work as log file context. It wouldn't be an instanceable thing. It would be like log file context process. It would get the seeds, it would get a list of logs, it would iterate everything it had. That will put us back about, let's see, and that was, I'm not sure why I did that. I guess since it was an action function, it sort of made sense to return itself. All right, we're not going to have any of these. We might need to develop some of them as, so seeds is there, logs is there. I probably could have gotten some of this from the initializers. We're root in base also now. It might make sense. Certainly bases now. And then these are not member variables. You have no need to return a value. So that was only recording this stuff here and in our local basin root. Actually, we might not have basin root here. We might have a data structure. I'm still struggling for a good name for this. It's sort of metadata basis. Actually, probably that's going to subsume these. Well, certainly base, because base gets done on every loop. Sounds like root gets removed. So for everything, I could conceivably have an object for this. I'm not going to be trying to serialize it out to anything. Or I could treat this like some sort of oracle where I initialize it with this information and then it answers questions as needed. Let's pause for a moment on that note. What does this look like after we redo it? The minimum change version of this is that. And then on each one, as we need to know this information, well, it's not even an update. So this comes down to how we use it. If it's just a hash, it's logfile.path. And then if it's just a hash, we have something like this. What indeed were those values? Was that an entire log file? Or is it just a timestamp? This is actually making me think I could return this entire hash here, or just kind of set it up. I think I forgot. Yeah, that's all. That's all of you. Prior log file. Root equals log file. And then what do we do with you? Root file and timestamp. Root file and timestamp. Base file. Base file.path is used to look up spans. And get the end of that. So it's not trivial. That gets passed into there, which gets used by there, which needs path. So technically, a minimum requirement is base file path and a root file timestamp. Right now they're files, though, which means we're just passing the information down and letting it do whatever. And for what we're doing, it's not like we're using the entire value of it, so my indexed things would work. So it sounds like what we actually want here. Maybe we do call this context. Although this sort of ties us to we create some canonical sense of names here. But like if we're going to name something there, that saves us a bit. And that's all we use that for. Oh, and what this says is that we're setting those up. That was always passing it, even though it might be nil. I don't know if that makes any difference. Oh, there is a difference here. That's setting up base. That's setting up root. But root will always be... I'm debating whether to have an intermediate variable here. That updates the local variable. And everything has a root file, so we don't update it every cycle. So if we update that from logs, we should get pretty much the same result. This is why I oftentimes to split my windows. Undefined method for nil. Maplog cache, maplog cache, maplog cache, maplog cache. What are we even doing in here? No, it's not process. 79. Oh, are we not set up to do multiple iterations? Enter for each cache. That should be fine. Oh. Well, there's an issue, isn't it? Or a possible issue. We have to deal with that issue twice. It's not it, though. Undefined method for nil. Ah, I didn't return it. All right, we are currently going to be skipping that because nothing mismatches. Base file, root file, base file, root file. First one will be missing a base file with our currently available information. However, if we were to use the list for this, to develop this for all things, it would actually reprocess that one to go, oopsie. Well, it's not actually going to write anything out because we've got that turned off. Would it actually rewrite all of them? Yes, because their roots have all changed. So the first run of this must have done more damage than I thought. Yeah, if it goes all the way back to there and reprocesses the final images. Which are on the edge and possibly back at stuff that has been sort of messed up. I might have to go back and, when I've got all the data in place, force a recalculation of this from when this started. Which, if I keep around, Something like this. We can figure out about when it started. So the first things that fell off the edge looks like you. So unfortunately, in order to get it to stop damaging things, we have to do this reprocess. Which probably won't be too different. I mean, I don't know that we're still working with much of anything that's more than 2 weeks old. It does make me wonder if I shouldn't wait to get things right. But I could modify or delete entries from the index to make it reprocess things. Okay, so it saw a different root time on all of those. I'd swear I didn't see that much change when I first downloaded these, even though it should have been calculating a different root. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't see a problem in my local one, but my local one wasn't based on the partial image. Okay, so that's part of it. So this define iterating available files, damage entries will have no longer available files. Yeah, so we did this. That sort of answers that, but now we have a problem. Because all of that stuff would start processing on top of potentially bad data. And then in each iteration, it would kind of carry it forward. And that's something I don't have well defined, short of going and messing with the index files. I don't know that I see a good way to stop damaging stuff going forward without forcing it to reprocess. It's going to change all the routes. In fact, every day right now, I guess it's technically changing routes. I'm just not seeing it. So in theory, that's something we could publish. Well, you know what? I never. I did do an interim commit. So this has been a total rewrite. And I still haven't rewritten anything in the actual online processing. This has been entirely for development debugging. Let's see, so that's fake. This might be kind of hard to break down here. What's your hunk? That's your hunk. This one might be easier. Oop. Okay, well, that did what I wanted. I don't know that anything's going to change there, but that is a bunch of work we definitely don't need to do. Actually, we just did that. If I didn't overwrite my master file, or if I didn't like give it a preset master file list, then it might be able to kind of not break things more going forward. I mean, things wouldn't be right, but then when I did get things in place to have the entire history there, then I could upload my master file list. They've got dates on them. Which might itself cause some trouble. I would have to go to quite a bit of trouble to get other dates, though. Or I'd have to have some sort of process to, like, recover them from our own process logs. That wouldn't get, like, seed file content and stuff, though. So the issue is that I often download my local copies sometime later than they probably got processed in the online version. So like all of these would show up as, oh hey, it's an updated file. Yeah, so if I did not update this file, I wouldn't cause a whole lot of immediate trauma. It would be able to maintain a local history going forward. It wouldn't fix the seed list, though. And initially that wasn't entangled with developing context, so it didn't affect this. Oh, right now, we're still using this thing. This thing still has its local dates. That issue will only come into play as we start doing this. What I was considering is what do I push publish this and publish my file list to get, which is what will fix the seeds, which means I kind of have to. So to fix the arc list, I have to publish a master file list. To publish a master file list, I'm going to have dates in there. Which actually, do the dates matter? If we get a newer date, we update our map log list. So if it was a seed or something. A newer actual file date. But we're not using those dates for data updates. When we go to do this, I may have to see about some way we can capture like either dates from an old index file that would better match the dates of the online processing, or at least be older than them. Or actually grab the processed times from our old key file so that the logged files don't appear newer. But once we get to that stage, I think that's the only time that will matter. Well, actually, we're going to be doing kind of a weird pivot there. Because we're going to be using our file list and referring to our uploaded files, which those files will actually have been uploaded very recently. Uh, all right, so we think this will be okay. We think... yeah, we're not using the file list dates yet. Only for sort of self-replacement of entries. No, that's the cache. I've only got this up right now. Not git status. There's a repository here somewhere. Oh, and way too many directories. All right, so you... Oh, we've still got differences. Let's see, I did not have anything in data server. Okay, you are clean. If I were to do probably just about anything. That will update. Oh, and then it has to be published. So that it is online. Oh, nope. It also has to. Let's see. You've got the equivalent of that loop. And there's seed break. So we define that stuff. All right, so our map log list. Just from our potential output file system, we've got a file system. That goes, we define our paths. Oh, right, that's cross window. File system, placement path, picking one of them randomly. update from the logs that we have. Final placements, map logs, manual resets, seeds. Seed break, manual resets, update the seeds, and then there's our context setup. And you don't exist. Now I expect things to be more or less caught up locally here. A whole data server. You might still try to connect to the database even though we're not really using it here. Actually, that would probably be a good enough. Does that matter? This might need variables though. No object data. Oh, have I never run this? Well, it shouldn't have had... The other version should have complained about that if that was true. Load cache. Which one of these is the top? Import map logs. No object data unless object data size. Okay. Load collection. Okay, a collection of servers and things. So it's from the file system. That's saying maplog cache is not giving us static objects. It's definitely got a file size. Not saying object size is not greater than 0. Oh, file cache. File cache. Oh, these. I think these are peers. Data server documents. Family trees. Cache. Map. Local output dir. All file cache plus map. Local output dir. Okay, trees map. But actually, public is where the objects would be. That's not unexpected. No, that's maplog cache. This is file system local. Maybe file system read. No, that's right. I wonder if this is some sort of case sensitivity thing? No, not you. Oh, nope, I moved you out of games to dev. I've never run this since I repositioned that stuff. There was something I had to do to like include or exclude this from something. So that's just a really old end file. But it used to be there. All right, so cannot to connect to server. Okay, yeah, it's trying to connect to the database. Even though I don't think anything here actually uses the DB. It's just part of standard startup process. Oh, and Knockrash isn't running. Because Lord God Windows demanded a restart today, even though it demanded one a day or two ago. Now what? Import map logs, map log list. Ah. Right, I had things locally defined before. I think that was the only new symbol. Is that so? Whole family trees, map log list. Right, because you also have to include the file. Everything else was kind of included before. Well, that console's dead. Console's very dead. What the heck? Well, can't tell which process to kill, so we just have to get rid of everything else. Oh, it finally died. Okay. Right, I went exploring around. I don't know why it's reprocessing anything. That looks like it might be... That's some very old data. Right, because I had swapped in the online ones, and this is the full file date thing. Static. No, that's the cache again. Did I? So for you to give sensible answers... So these are the ones that have been semi-corrected. Which we might yet need. Just grab that for good measure. So given a locally consistent view of things, didn't even start the process. There we go. Okay, and I think that just it got to the end and there was nothing to do, which is what we expect from that. So this should update map processing to fix seeds, and it's going to reprocess the last 2 weeks of stuff. And we might have to reprocess it again once we get everything fixed. And we can actually go all the way back and fix them. For snapshots of currently available files. Actually, did I ever... I may not... I don't remember if I did this one. I may have. Alright, so that's got to go through an entire slug build. Don't really have anything good for this left. Where are we at? Probably a good time for me to go refill my water and stuff. Actually, I've got some laundry to move too. This might be involved enough to not finish today, but we've got a plan for it. Yeah, I might want to break for dinner at some time too. We can get started. Be back in a little bit. All right. Well, out here, it's only going to be. Wait, I got a pie. Really, I did. Ah! I grabbed a new pie. I must have accidentally put it down somewhere. And I die in the wilderness again.
I am getting super old. You want my... Hi. You want... Go away. You want my boots? You want the blue shirt? What do you want? You want the wooden shoe? Or do you want the other shoe? Which one do you want? I will give you whatever you want, kiddo. Do you want this? You want my hat? Yes, you want my hat. No, you want the shoe. And the hat. Good? Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad that I could give the baby.
We're all in trouble. Kronos is going full wrath mode. I got the lava flowing. I got the lava flowing. I got the lava, got the lava, got the lava, got the lava flowing. Got the lava, got the lava.
Oh, hi. Was he fighting a warper? Alright, home again.
Oh! Game over.
I will pee my pants. I will pee my pants. Oh, Bell. Mel. Red. Stop. Next time I'm making so it's only donations that will trigger scare things.
Welcome back. Alright, so you are probably done deploying. That will probably be okay. I guess we can watch it work as it semi-fixes everything. I'm also not sure I could entirely stop it if it started redoing all of history. We're not using those timestamps yet. Actually, yeah, it probably has already done the daily update for today. Which means we just missed one map log there. Maybe for the better. Oh, no, that's Rails. So, yeah, it's going to reprocess those. Oh. I wonder if those were small ones, because it did that quite quickly. Because maybe those file names are coming from different places. When it's reading it and then when it's writing out the update. All right, so what I've generally found is that these process slower here, but then it's closer to S3 when it actually comes time to upload them. So that's just going to be a while. So the plan was establish a maplog archive. I've got it started. It's actually going to be missing one, but that will start to give us a place for the copying. It's probably going to be easier to actually store that on the map server, so that way I don't have to establish new buckets and things. I think there's actually a file move option on S3, so we'll have to log in off screen. No. we're nearing the end of my planned vacation period. One of the things I keep putting off is thinking about possibly making more of a regular off time where I'm not necessarily supposed to be doing anything, so I can just kind of catch up on like random stuff around the house and things. And I'm just really torn about that in general because it comes down to, well, I'm generally doing things I want to be doing, or I need to be making some degree of money to keep paying my bills. If I cut out programming time, then I'm already making slow progress on projects. If I cut out gaming time, then geez, I'm barely making progress at things as it is. It's going to take longer and longer to get through things, and more new games are going to stack up. If I cut out One Life, then that's one of my more popular things. And it's interesting to keep an eye on it. And that's why I play, because it's an ever-evolving and changing world. Even when Jason's not doing stuff, the meta's changing. But it seems like I'm just going to continue with one gaming day a week, and that would not be a lot unless I was getting in random times during the week. Maybe do I want to do One Life at random times during the week so I can get in bigger sessions and other things? Because, you can still do the hour, 2 hour thing. I think the shorter sessions actually work for Baba, kind of, because you're not burning your brain too hard. But then one of the things I thought about is maybe I should talk to people about times that are better or worse to actually be around or to look at things. I'm just kind of basing things loosely on my current schedule or what I've got. Yep. Did it change? Yeah, it changed on me. I thought they'd give you like a 1 cycle window, but maybe not. All right. So if we go to my current public data thing, that is in fact what I think we'd want to move. I don't know if I can. I think it gave me into my entire list of options here. So that should be the path we want. If I'm looking at change data from that bucket to that bucket. This is not a simple rename, so there might be some actual movement going on there. Meanwhile, you've processed a few of your things. So that'll be semi-established. Now, I'm going to need programmatic methods to access that. Everything there, let's see, well, I can already get to files there. However, it is set up through a different interface, so I may have to develop... I guess this is actually not accessing them, is it? That establishes the archive so that we could reprocess things. I'm kind of missing a step here. So we've got one, but we need an interface to access MapLog archive, which was kind of in that step. And I might be able to simulate, well, And let's do a certain amount of online testing here, because it actually is going to be accessing a type of map log we've not previously accessed before. And that would allow you to go back and reprocess the older things, at which point we have to, well, I would have to set that up to not to actually do anything. Because we might have some timestamp drift there. This could be done through the current file system interface. And maybe it would be useful to do that first, because then I could set it up to just be maintaining that for me. That would actually be something that's yeah. So this whole file split is something that might only be really relevant to the online version. I guess that would, maybe that would go, yeah, this is just doing more stuff is just going to complicate things. That's how it goes. So if I set up a file system, which currently has a write interface, we could copy that up there pretty easily. Maybe I set that up as a little true-false gate for testing purposes. With something like this. Output dir, output bucket. Okay, so that's the bucket. So we had one file system there. Actually, that is going to be just that. Now, this was set up to... Oh, so this would, So I could set this up. Not that I'm thrilled about having multiple copies of this. But I can set this up because this folder here, from trees here, is actually no. Yes, that's a different folder structure. So to make that a comparable, then this would act as that copy locally, and this would be that file system. Public map change data. Public map change data. And we may actually have a new log to do some testing with, or I could just, since this is already going to be a copy, I could delete files from it to see how it responds. So that would kind of give me the two file system thing. I could start testing with my existing local file access here. Get some of the two different directory things going. and then worry about the fact that I need an S3 interface or something to actually get to them. Okay, so you are copying. Not to worry about S3 just yet, but we've got. Oh, hey, what do you know? It's the file system in most of our stuff as far as copying it there. We were trying to do a single loop processing. Do file systems do exist checks? Or would we just say, my file system, my file processing is here. Oh, you were created with a file system. So I could pick any of those to do that. Alternately, I could treat the file list as being the map of that, which then complicates this process. It's not just a data structure maintenance anymore. So I do have to keep an eye on this because these things have been known to die sometimes. Update from if it exists. Bucket is empty and probably it can just be removed now. I guess an empty bucket doesn't really hurt me. All right, you... I don't know if I'm done with you yet or not. Right, so having two local files actually does pivot my problem a little bit. I don't even really need the interface then. So this gives me a moment where that file list can also represent files that need to get copied. I'm going to have to do a little bit of setup to make sure that that is actually a representative state. Actually, file system. We can initialize, we can write, we can read. We can list them. I don't know if I'm actually using that. Yep. List object. So that's internal to file system S3. File system group is using an its list. So actually I did not end up using that. But That would essentially be one S3 call to check if it exists. Or I could tie it to one of my other things and say, there was a red X there. I didn't think that should have been a modified file. I could have the master file list as essentially representing the stuff that should be there. I might need some little script to go through and rebuild it if need be. Although all of those files will be recently updated, so the file dates would be not great in terms of things reprocessing themselves. So the most technically accurate way would be to call a list on the file system and see if the files are there and copying them if they're not. Ideally, we would copy them also if they were newer. Which I'm not actually sure what list gives me. Probably just paths. Actually, did I have some leftover? Oh, yep, I had my leftover test here. Thanks. I guess the new tip system works. Thank you. All right. I already know that people have gone over this in Twisted's channel, so I'm not going to pressure you too hardly, but taking care of yourself first. But thank you. All right, and we were looking at public map change. Was that change data? Public map change data. And it is saying path. All right, it's been a little bit since we did this. All right, oh, yeah, I synced that, so it did get an index file. That is just paths. It includes this. So to make it comparable, I would have to remove that path segment. Yeah, so the file system is not going to look just like the way I treat that with just this part as the path. I guess I could, and it, no, because it gets past a bucket, and a bucket's not going to fly if we're doing S3. Or rather, a bucket is a bucket. I don't think it includes any sort of subdir. Yeah, we're expecting the users to manage that. So this we would have to know what this path is. We would have to remove it, and I guess I have to check this on S3 as well. Oh, nope, that actually... Interesting. Did I re-add that, actually? Oh, yep, file path plus... No, Dirglot will have file path, but this is plus slash. All right, this is output dir? Oh, right, because this is mostly for output stuff. File... this is to get rid of dot and dot dot files, I think. Not prefix. Oh yeah, output dir dot length. Oh, okay, yeah, because this is the file system, so we don't want this entire path. The contents of path, we were still counting that as being something we wanted in our previous versions. So whatever we do with that, we're going to have to remove a prefix. I presume we're going to get the same kind of thing because we had set that up. Output bucket. This is where we can actually... I think I'm actually not completely sure I've got keys set up for this. Oh, yeah, that's comparable. So that would be, for file existence, that would be comparable. It would not be able to handle newer files if I were to, well, if I were to expand that to include like the life logs or something, then my map seed-based thing isn't going to work anyway. I would need to have some other kind of, well, that does have dates if it just didn't do anything special processing for seeds. That could handle updates. I'm actually not aware. Well, there have been, it doesn't have, no. There were some incidents recently where we got some like 0 size maplog files that were later updated. So dates could be an issue. Dates could be an issue. So simple existence will not do it. Which means it is either tied in directly to maplog list, or we will use information from the list in a separate process of some sort to determine if the file should be updated. Now, we are loading that from there. We're updating it from logs. Yeah, so here's the thing. Right now, this is its own little loop. Once we do that, we no longer have the old date, new date information. So we would either have to do it before there, which would duplicate everything that happens here. Pretty much. Or we have to build it into this, which I kind of don't like. Because this was kind of its own little data structure, which was sort of nice. One option might be to give this thing a block. To say, oh, by the way, if this updates, call me back in case I want to do something. I'm doing kind of okay. I haven't really been feeling like I've been sleeping good lately. The other night I was all stuffed up. Last night I think I may have had too many blankets on. It was kind of hot. And I guess that's one of the reasons I haven't really pushed on this thing. Well, I was trying not to push on much of anything for the past week, but it's also constantly in my mind that it's out there and broken. So if I said, are you calling back with source file? I guess the more information the better, even if I only need the path. No. Now, if I were to yield, would that just ignore it if there were no block, or would I have to say something about that? So I should be on my local data right now, and I've got a bunch of things disabled. You're true. We're doing this outside of this. We're not tying it to this process right now. Yeah, because this actually wouldn't need to be redone if we only had like a root change or something. This is just the raw files. So tying it to that doesn't necessarily make sense. Although, okay, new concern. How do I cache these things? So this is originally designed for one iteration. I'm kind of doing multiple iterations now. Maplog, this is the cache version. Each, we do, okay, so that does each of there, that does a new logs. This is more of an issue, let's see, this is maplog. Maplog server. Okay, so all of that processing is caught up. Servers, logs. Yeah, you're doing a brand new thing every time. So that means I would download it multiple times. These are pretty big files. All right, so this is not going to do very much right now, except check whether it cares about yields with no block. No block given. Yep. So either I recopy the file every time we update, and we're going to be doing a bulk update at some point here, so that's maybe not great. Or I would have to record that that file needed to be updated. And then when we go through here, we would say if it was one of those. And I'm probably being lazy and using a data structure here. I know, you're an object of a generic type of maplog file. But source file is what we're actually going to be dealing with. You're going to have files. So you would have to have some way to look it up by path. Although we might have to get into some of that anyway, as we worry about crossing sources here. And then it's got a 2H for serialization. So that would be make it separate from the things we kept on it. But it's the other files that we might need to keep some sort of dirty flag on. All right, so this is treated as a maplog repository that has this ability to be updated. So that solves that problem. Although we probably want to yield something. So if we're just tracking dirty status, that would be sufficient to make a dirty list. I only really need to track his existence here. And right now, I actually wouldn't expect to see anything here. Also, we've got all this. This is probably seed break. Oh. How are you being updated? Why are you being updated? Updated. And you would be if it was a new path. Let's see, what is all this other stuff? This is all things I should maybe not be dealing with. Or maybe I should be quieting down. Updated, updated, updated. Okay. What did I mess up in my condition here? Are these two different types of objects? What the heck? I think dot class is the... They're both times. Is like one a few milliseconds later than the other or something? Is it... I that gives us a primitive representation? Pardon? Maybe that will reduce resolution? Yeah. So somewhere between how we get dates from files and how we get dates from parsing our file, we've lost or gained some milliseconds or something. All right, and if we do time dot now plus 1, oh, well, that's not very useful, is it? Because it's always time dot now. That's 23:59, 24. So that adds, nope, actually it's 59. So that adds 1 second, which should be enough to get over our issues. So if the source file dot date is greater than log file dot date plus 1. Okay, so technically we're updating that on the live server every time, but right now it doesn't hurt anything. And, oh, you know what? Somehow, this was never an issue. Right, I was probably comparing saved timestamps to saved timestamps. Also, the 2i, which rounded to probably seconds, also had the same effect. Now, what I've been doing, these are source files. Well, timestamp. Yeah, that would come from maplog, map file, maplog file, proxlog. Yeah, date is not going to be similar to timestamp. Is a separate thing, and that serves the same purpose. That's getting kind of long. All right, so that gives us the list of only the files that have updated, which we can probably, either I could take a file out of the list manually, or we've actually got a new file that should be available now. Okay, so that's updated files. Should just be, that just basically a list of paths. And really updated files then is just going to be the, this is actually a set. This is not a default thing. I think that would work. Of course, we don't actually have anything in the set right now. You are in the right place to go ahead and put something in the set. Unfortunately, I'm going through and checking the timestamps on every single life log, so this process takes a little while. Or I guess I could hook this up to actually be looking at live life logs for that. I just try not to pound on the servers too much while I'm developing stuff. So, given a list of files, we'll have a list of updated files, and I'm often turning off these kinds of things. If log file dot path, what is this going to be? Updated files dot include. Yep. Set. Set, subset, subset. Oh, right. This is used for case statements. I don't know if I want to use that for code here. Member sounds about right. Then, and maybe I should have some sort of thing to manage this. But right now we're piggybacking on our file date comparisons while we can do that. So I think this is probably just like a file write, file read situation. We do these kinds of things in final placements for one. It's a different kind of read. File system.read path. It gives me a file object. I'm assuming there's going to be a file system.write. It gives me a file object that we can append to. And this is where we have to be careful of paths. Okay, so that's that path. If updated files member, I guess at some point this will only be, then log file dot, ooh, this is going to be a log file read. Where does that happen? There's actually something else that these two things use that does the heavy lifting. And sometimes I think it's too integrated, but there's a lot of stuff going on there. Tiled placement log. It's a log file. Okay. Dot open gives us a file. And maybe that's the thing where it can either return it or it can block it. File equals open, file equals open. Eplog cache, are you, okay, yeah, you're open, file dot open. Okay, so this is not set up for blocks, because we tend to be parsing it in loops. It's not what's happening here, however. So file system.write. So we're going to have I tend not to like having strings. This is probably not going to be too terribly different. So I did not have a trailing slash in my list statement here. When I tested this. Can you shut up? No, you can't, because we've still got problems here. I might be able to do log file.open. I guess what I really first want is, hey, and technically there's an index file that's separate from actually writing the file. We write the index before we do this, so there is room for things to go awry. That is a little bit less than great. Okay, so we're doing all our seed break stuff. That is an empty set. Oh, I'm still on fake, aren't I? Because we're saying, well, what if we were only doing a partial list? And that was the full archive. So what's going to happen here? We're going to have our latest file. And I guess technically there should have been an index file here. And then we're going to have lost our oldest one. All right, so seed break. You probably need something to say, do we need all this debugging? Which sometimes we do. But right now it's kind of in my way. There's probably some other stuff in the way too, so... maybe this has to be a code change. We just don't need this right now. I'm not entirely sure how I'd want to do that as an option. Okay, and that's probably the lesser part of it, if anything. Okay, so that was that break. Oh, okay, now there is a file there. And then that is from our context change. Which, when we're working on it, this is all important stuff. And it was kind of revealing some of the problems we had before. But I only had one shot. Because that got written into the index. Oops, I had two of those. Oh, we had it open somewhere. I guess it would be sufficient to fudge the timestamp here. So that's the fact that that can succeed and update. Oh, you know what? I don't have to write that out. Yeah, you're not map process. Okay, so we saw that down there. It has the incremental path. It's not just map archive. It is map archive plus log file.path. And no, we were doing list. We didn't have a slash. Annoyingly enough, this causes trouble there. Oh, so you see, this is a dir that doesn't have a trailing slash. It's a bucket that doesn't have a trailing slash. I don't know if you can output a file to a file like that. All right, so we are looking for 7778 in. Like map change data. 7778. It could have been 1 kilobyte actually, because we've had that issue. It is not 1 kilobyte. We just wrote something very silly there, apparently. Yeah, it two-stringed it. So that does not work. Probably read. I don't suppose there's any way to stream one to the other. Well, there's copy stream. Copy source to dest. So this is an IO static method then? Okay. Or there's a different method than the output. Like if we did just a write or something, would it be a little bit smarter? Still, copy stream kinda is what we want, I think. Given string, yeah. Copy stream, length, offset, source, dest. Oh no, that's the source. And file might be a little bit too generic here. Public map change data. No, it's got all its bytes. We can update that. It will write, and then it will not write. This thing is still writing a whole lot of links that we probably don't need. I guess the way I've done this, I could have actually had it return a list of updated files. It's probably fine. Or a set of updated files. This is probably fine to leave here for now. This isn't exactly as it processes them. It should generally work, as long as we don't crash before we get to the copy stage. And one of the things we can do to fix that is be a little bit better about this. So we update this. It's a thing we can use, but only if we successfully do all of this do we save it out. Now, if we were to get stuck for an extended period of time, we wouldn't be archiving files. Well, as long as we got here, we would actually be copying them. We just wouldn't have the data on them, the index of them. So that's you, and there's not really a whole lot of test code in here right now. And indeed, I do have a new file to process. Let's see, process locally. Interface to access MapLog archive. So this is only going to matter for the older files. It's only going to matter for the older files. It's only going to matter for the older files. So I don't think I need my other hacks. Although, I guess as I do that stuff, I may not want to be outputting things right away. As we just check what it would do. All right, so you... That is a lot of spam in all of the logs. I could always check the results myself if I need to compare something. That's took to be able to get updates. This is the stuff we think we might keep for a little bit. That was log spam. No. That. This is actually. Yeah, that entire hunk. This is still kind of a testing thing. Okay, that is separate from there. We moved you down, we added that. As far as what we commit, those are going to be awkward. That's going to be all of this stuff. Wasn't sure if that was included there. We're going to need you. Any final comments on this? We have copied the log. We have not really set up an interface yet. Yeah, I have so many little personal work files here. I will have to update, I will have to synchronize these logs when this is all done to make sure everything's up to date. Okay. I probably do want to get the local logs up to date. Because what we're dealing with now is not necessarily the regular incremental updates. It is going to be fixing up some of the historical things. Oh. That's not going to be useful because we've had it all disabled. Let's see, and the other stuff was disabled at its top end. All right, so now we've got this awkward thing where I'm going to have an S3 bucket that is going to have all of these files. And so far, my map log sources have only ever been set up to work by iteration, but a log file is pretty much just a path. We don't also need to iterate on this one. I might be able to set it up so that it could support iteration. Yeah, it's starting a little dark. Well. I might shut down lights at some point. I might. Actually, I might want to cut it here. Because it's getting to be about dinner time. It is... I'm technically set aside this is still break time, and just this thing is bothering me. We're getting better, though. Thank you. We're getting closer. But this is going to be a block of work. This is going to be a block of work to get all of this stuff right. And this should just be manipulating some index files. But I don't necessarily want to like do the dinner while I stream thing tonight because I'm kind of trying to take a break. Depending on what I see while doing that, maybe I want to do a little bit more Baba. This might be enough thinking for today, although even with the break, it's not impossible. I'd want to work on this stuff tomorrow morning because there is still some broken data out there. But yeah, it's time for dinner break. So thanks for watching. I did change my platform. I wonder if I can get tips by API now. But yeah. Thanks for all the support tonight. This is my normal schedule. I have not been doing my normal schedule the last couple days. I would normally be gaming at this time on an evening. And then the mornings are normally coding. And I might be looking at making some long-term changes. I'm just undecided as to exactly how to do that. So since I'm not normally looking for coding people at this time of day, I don't know if I'm going to have anything to recommend. That's a possibility. Yeah, there's a few things. Where did I see that? Let's see, so that schedule looks kind of all over the place. It looks like it kind of just started, so it might be around for a while. If you're looking for someplace cool to hang out. Stage Codes says he's working on some C# Discord.net stuff, so probably some sort of Discord bot. I've messed around with some Twitch interfaces and chat bots and stuff. I've never gotten to Discord. If a place cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Good night until next time.